Recording this. Hello, this is Drake, and you are in the Ohio Mises Caucus meeting for September 2022. We just had the first meeting of Ohio's new Central Committee, so congrats to all the winners. And the meeting actually didn't go crazy long, which is unusual. Apparently, forming meetings in the past had only taken 5 or 6 hours, and that one took 2. In spite of some technical difficulties. So that's great, good sign of things to come. And kind of today wanted to do a heads up on how people get involved, kind of both within the Mises Caucus and within Libertarian Party of Ohio in general. So yeah, let's get to it. So the Libertarian Party of Ohio is the kind of hierarchy of it is we're affiliated with the national party, right? Then there's the state party, which is affiliated with the national, and that is kind of controlled by the central committee and the executive committee. The central committee is the like electoral college almost. Actually, I think there was actually a thing sent about this in the, yeah, here we go. I'm going to share something from the Discord because I am lazy and don't want to think. So yeah, the people in charge are one, general party members who control the party. They show up to committees, they show up to convention, they vote and write the bylaws and the constitution and all that, and ultimately run stuff. Then there is the central committee who was just seated this go around. So those, the really big stuff they do is they make between convention bylaw changes. Their judicial committee and their kind of electoral college that elects the executive committee. The executive committee is the thing that runs stuff day to day, but a lot of it's actually delegated out to groups like divisions. So the divisions in the party actually do a lot of the business. So yeah, this is kind of thing of CENTCOM's board of directors, XCOM is the top execs, and directors are the VP. So that's actually, if you're getting involved at the state level, that is where most of the openings are. So controlling committee, I shouldn't say, it should be management team. I always get mixed up. So that's the executive committee, which I'm on. But the kind of, these are the divisions that run stuff. The field division is the one that's going to be, that's right now, we reformed it, it kind of gone away, now it's coming back, but that's really important. It's the one that reaches out to the county parties, recruits people, coordinates volunteers for projects, all that stuff. So like if you wanted support for tabling at a county fair, they'd be the group to reach out for, or that kind of thing. The political division kind of finds statewide candidates and also kind of responds to legislation. So if there is something coming through the state house that is good or bad, they would be the ones to let us know and then kind of react to it. They also help with kind of, like the writing, lobbying, legislation, and stuff like that. Communications division is fairly self-explanatory. Jimmy, he goes by, things change, he goes by Jimmy normally, so I always get confused. Runs Ohio's Twitter account, which is one of the better state Twitter accounts in my opinion, but I'm also not on Twitter, so my opinion doesn't count for much. But also has done things traditionally, sending out a monthly newsletter or the like, and that is also mostly vacant. Finance director, and I actually need to send in a photo, kind of handles fundraising and keeping track of money and all that stuff. I ended up in this role because the state party needed it, and I've done a purely mediocre job in my role, where before we were a year out of date on donations and now we're up to date on donations, and we have grown back to what we were previously in total number of people donating, but it's a lot more smaller donations right now. So actually my job right now is kind of working to increase that. And if anybody would like to volunteer for this division, I can appoint people quickly. And I would love to have people making fundraising calls for me. And this would be for the Libertarian Party of Ohio. None of this is for the Mises Caucus. These are separate things. I am explaining the Libertarian Party of Ohio. And then there is the IT division. Derek is great. He is trying to fix some of the buggy stuff on our website, which was made well at the time, but it's kind of like, with IT, as things get out of date, they start breaking. And there are a lot of people actually helping him with this right now. So if anyone is available and has IT knowledge, that is another place to be. So if you're trying to volunteer at a state level, one of the best spots to do it is in any of these kind of divisions. Probably not as a director, since you'd be coming in new, but taking over a specific role in it. And there are if you go to lpo.org/jobs, you can learn more about that. And also, if you happen to live in the right areas, you could also go for one of the open central committee seats, which you should if you are in the right area and you're interested in involved at the state level, because it's good to have a full central committee. Any questions about that part so far? About what exists at the state level, what the divisions are, what's kind of open and what's needed? Nothing? Come on, some of you guys said you're interested in getting more involved, so you gotta have some questions. Or we can circle back to it. Yep.
Sorry. I was going to say my connection broke up a couple of times, so you're going through that. So, but and also I'm looking at this on a really small phone screen. Basically, I don't know. I don't have much of a IT experience or anything like that, but it's like, as a new member, I don't want to get into. I've been in organizations before where you get into. People just want like a role to fill, and then they end up getting into it, and they're kind of like in over their head. And so I don't know, like I do have like a job that I work 60, 70, I work a lot, and I'd like to, I don't know, find some way to get involved, but not like bite off more than I can chew,
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. And that is kind of why I wouldn't say go for director role, but for example, if you just wanted to help out the state party with fundraising, I have a list of people to call, and it could be you do 5 calls, 20 calls a week, and kind of just from a list, which is kind of when you're going into these, you do kind of have support. With right now, like myself, Dustin, and Helen are kind of the ones supporting people in those roles, where we're not just going to leave you high and dry on your own. Although those roles are a lot to jump into, so the easier thing to jump into that is smaller is the county organizations.
Okay.
Yeah, and also don't worry, this is actually being recorded, so you can just watch it later on a good screen. So there are 88 counties in Ohio. Some of them are affiliated, which I believe this map is up to date. Yeah, with Delaware's, that's not, and I think Trumbull might have. I'm not going to say anything because I'm not sure. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's a number of counties that have affiliates. There's a number that don't. And kind of doing stuff at that local level is also part of it, and also just filling out the form that gets you. If your county does not yet have an affiliate, this is how you'd fill out and say, hey, I want to be involved with the county affiliate, or getting connected at that level, because smaller things have smaller rules available. So you can do more things at that level. And that's kind of been some of the difficulties with counties not existing. It's harder to have those kind of small, clearly defined roles. Because if a county is up and running well and has a campaign for someone running for local office, it's pretty easy for someone to hop on and, just knock doors for the campaign for a bit. Where if the county's not really set up, you have to do so much infrastructure work, you can't do a small, clearly defined volunteer role. So that is both the stuff you can do and kind of the difficulties, but generally a good place to start, especially if you don't want to just jump in head first, is reaching out to your county party, finding their socials, whatever else, and attending. Some counties have their own websites, or a lot will actually put their websites on the LPO calendar, so you can find some near you and just just showing up is a good first thing, although people have not been putting them on the calendar recently, apparently.
Who was asking the question, Drake? I didn't know who was.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
That was me, Alex C.
Oh, okay, Alex. So I wanted to say one of the things that my affiliate has done has intentionally made a kind of record of how we set ours up, because we found that that was a huge problem, that we had no idea what to do, and we felt that there, kind of should have been. So if you have any issues and don't know what to do, let me know, because we've got resources.
Yeah. And what county are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm in Warren County.
Not you, Josh. I know
Oh,
you.
what? Sorry.
Yeah, actually, I'm in Lucas, and I kind of, looked around. I tried contacting the local, like, Lucas County affiliates. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but I emailed them, contacted the Facebook page, and what he was saying, I don't know, it sounded like he was like busy more on the state level of things, and he wanted somebody to take over his county chair, but I don't know what really else is going on in my area aside from, I mean, this one guy is like contacts in my region.
Yep, no, and that is definitely one of the difficulties, that there are some counties where everyone involved is busy doing something else. So honestly, there is a possibility there's not much happening there, which is hard if you don't have a lot of time to give to it. So there are also things that you can kind of do on your own. Actually, and first I'll pause for a little bit and kind of talk about communication within the party. If you go to lpo.org, you can find there's somewhere that there's a contact us form, and those email, info@lpo.org. That is being checked more regularly. So that is a not terrible way to contact the party, but I would really recommend working through the LPO Discord when possible. Rocket Chat is the official platform of the party, and what that means is if you're trying to like hold an official position, like CENTCOM, like joining state CENTCOM, you'll need to be on Rocket Chat. But if you're not doing that, the Discord is a lot more active and people are kind of more responsive. So that's really the place that I'd recommend for reaching out and getting involved and kind of like finding out, hey, who is in Lucas County doing something, who's nearby, like, because maybe Henry and Ottawa have stuff going on if Lucas doesn't. And that's kind of stuff going on. Oh yeah, it's Derek Streller is the one in your county. So yeah, no, he is very busy right now at the state level because he's the one who took over as IT director. So he can't really do as much in the county while also managing IT director for the states kind of stuff. So I would recommend being on specifically the LPO Discord. You will notice it is ours because it has a little LPO logo. There is a separate Mises Caucus Discord, and that one is good to be on for Mises Caucus stuff. But like if you're trying to reach someone within the state party, the LPO one is the place to be. A Slack channel for the national party exists. Avoid it. Full stop. Just avoid it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Derek was passing over everything over to Dan Faust over there in Lucas County.
Yeah, I mean, if he finds a good volunteer to run the county party, then that seems like a good thing. Although, at least from what you described, it sounds like there's not someone willing to step up and be chair while Derek's kind of stepping along the way. So,
yeah, it's surprising.
Sorry. Sorry, we were talking over each other. Can you say it again?
I just said it's surprising because I know him and Dan are real tight together. They make up the majority of Lucas County. Derek, his wife, Dan, and his wife. And then there's only a couple other ones that I know of. Alex, I'm over in Erie County, just a FYI. I've been trying to plan a Waffle House meetup with the boys in Lucas County for a while.
Yeah, and I know that like Sandusky has been having socials and stuff. So like an answer is if Lucas doesn't have stuff to do, but you can wander over to Ottawa or Fulton or something and do stuff there, that is a valid thing as well, like to kind of put your role different places.
Oh yeah, I definitely like just to meet other people involved with the movement would be cool. It doesn't matter if I'd have to drive a bit. Although, weekends would probably work a little better. I don't know if that's when you guys usually host these things.
It varies kind of depending on who's hosting where, what, and when.
Right.
I know that Sandusky County has a newsletter. It
It's
gets out every month from one of the Joshuas. I think it's the other Joshua. And I will actually, so here, I'm gonna send you his email. And yeah,
Sandusky County usually has their meetings on Wednesdays.
Okay. That really isn't ideal, but all right.
well, I mean,
After
it's
this.
yeah, well, it's once you get in contact, then you can find stuff that fits you better, or you can even like honestly, hosting a social is easier than you think. You just say, hey, I'm gonna show up and be in this bar for these 3 hours. Whoever wants to make it, and we will help you publicize it, and kind of people can come to you because that's often easier. And you just pick a bar or something where getting a table's free, because I'd rather not pay for a table just in case someone shows up.
Okay, and this Josh guy is from
Sandusky County. Yep.
Okay, good to know.
But yeah, but that's kind of the, so if you are on the server, wow, Discord is malfunctioning. There we go. That this is kind of why we're setting up as it is that you'd be Northwest, right? And you can just
Yes.
like, hey, oh yeah, actually here he's posting about the next socials. This is probably a better place to contact him. You can just say at Northwest, hey, I'm new to the party and I am in blankety blank county. Are there any socials nearby? I would love to come out and volunteer. And people will reach out and be like, hey, we're doing this tomorrow, next week, whatever kind of thing. So that's kind of the goal, what the party Discord is for, is to do that organizing, because like I don't know who's in Putnam County. I don't even know where Putnam County is. I assume it's in Northwest, it's in the Northwest category, but yeah. Okay, so how does that feel? Like, does that feel like some information to kind of figure out where to get started, which is kind of reach out to the county party as possible? It sounds like you already have, and you got a hold of Derek, and that's good. But then that there's not as much happening in your county. So either getting involved in leadership to make things happen in your county, or if you don't have the time for that, kind of finding surrounding counties and working with them and doing stuff, kind of many hands makes light work kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the next step. Like, because as far as taking his spot on the county chair, it seems like kind of
that's a big leap.
big thing that, yeah, I don't know if I do that, but if there is like a social, just to like, I don't know,
meet
people who have already,
yep,
and get an idea of like what they have been doing, so I have a better idea of, I don't know, from somebody with experience, what I can do to help.
Yeah, for sure. And it's hard because right now we don't have ballot access. So a lot of the stuff we normally do is kind of around campaigns. So that's one of the big things that we do that you can't really do too much of right now. Although there will be some people running as nonpartisan races, but those only happen in odd years. So there's not really any happening right now, but there will be some happening next year. Other stuff that you can kind of do on your own as a volunteer. One would be the ballot access petitions. So right now we are trying to get signatures to get back on the ballot, to be an official recognized party in the state of Ohio again. And that is going to require a lot of signatures and a lot of kind of work and sweat equity. And I need to write up my thing for that. I'm just going to do it. No, I promise my husband I go out for dinner with him after this, so I can't do it today, but I'm going to do it this week and finally get it done, because I have a plan for how to get at least a decent chunk of the signatures I need to get people on board with. So that's one that you can just go around and gather them on your own, although it takes a lot of time and it's not the most fun. Another that's actually really valuable is if you show up to your local city council and you can actually kind of listen to laws, see if they're good ones or bad ones, or suggest things that you'd like to see. Like the way that a city decriminalized marijuana or stops a mask mandate or whatever else is because someone showed up and told the city council, hey, I want this to happen. And it happened. So that's kind of some of the stuff you can do on your own, although that kind of stuff still feels like a bit of a big leap, but I think in terms of actual time commitment is a lot less than something like a county chair role if you're not comfortable with that. Also, there is probably going to be on the weekend big holiday party in Franklin for the LPO generally, which I need to actually reach out about scheduling. I'm actually sending a message about that right now. How does everybody feel? There are a couple of people besides Alex that were also new. Does anyone else have questions or thoughts about all the stuff that I'm saying?
That's helpful. I've actually been thinking about going to some of my city council meetings. Is something I was actually looking into a week ago. I thought, it also would make sense to see, like you said, what's going on there, and you can see what stuff is good or what stuff's bad. And if something comes to mind that they could get done, that's along the right lines, it makes sense.
I just realized I was muted. So I said, yep. And then what county are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
Medina.
Medina. There we go. Oh, okay. So there's a bunch of counties around you that are affiliated. I think that I vaguely remember Summit being, what have I heard about? Oh, wait, never mind. I know it's got, yeah, Summit's interesting right now. But how do you feel? So like you said that you'd be interested in showing up to city councils. If that's something that you want to do, we have pre-written sample legislation. Drew has done it a lot and can kind of help and coach you through it, or some other people can as well. Or what other thing do you hear that you would like to get involved with? Like what speaks to you? Because people are going to put in the most effort where they feel the most motivated.
I mean, the city council thing kind of seems interesting. Also, what you mentioned, like the ballot access stuff, probably something.
Nice. Yeah, and then that it looks like your county doesn't have anything started up yet. So if you have time and you want to, the starting up or kind of running a county party is a lot more work. But the upside of it is that all of a sudden you have 6 people to help you with stuff. So it is like a force multiplier, even though it is not, it takes a bit of work. Although it takes less than you'd think to just run it as a bare bones city council, or bare bones county affiliate.
That's true. And make sure that you use the opportunity, like maybe you're talking to the person, you're like, yeah, did you know that libertarians can't actually get on the ballot, blah, blah, blah. Use that to recruit. Maybe that person agrees that that's effed up, but you're not really pushing the question like, do you know what a libertarian believes, and whatever, to get them, because you could get a core group just simply out of a day of asking for signatures or whatever, right? And with 3 people there, you could start an affiliate.
Yep, and there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do as well, especially if your county has for one example, is we can actually pull voting. Like if you start to do stuff and you want support, we can do things like pulling voting records from your county and seeing if anybody voted for Libertarian in the 2020 primaries or things like that to find people. Although that's kind of a question of, do you feel like you have the time and capacity to run a county affiliate? Or are you more interested in just doing like a one-off project, some ballot signatures, or would you want to volunteer at the state level? Which is kind of like, that's a question you're going to have to answer and think about. Although I'll bounce to someone else for a bit and not interrogate you. I just asked Ryan, right? So then Dave, how are you feeling? Or if you're AFK, all good. Okay. Oh, all good then. And then of course, if anyone ever wants to, Franklin County hosts socials every month, and we're gonna have our next one in Pins Mechanical, and we will buy your first drink. And that is, I say that as someone in Franklin County, not as like a Mises Caucus thing. And anything that you're doing or that you want help with, kind of reach out. And that's the goal of the caucus, is to support other things going on in Ohio, like ballot access, but like all this fiasco with central committee elections has been very detracting from some of those efforts. So yeah.
Hey, just to chime in, Drake,
Mhm.
in case you didn't see that, I'm not sure which city in Medina. Depending on what night it is, I'd be willing to drive to Medina to join him at city council if you need support, because Medina also has a Waffle House, so I will use that as an excuse to go.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'd be interested in. I'll let you know. I can let you know. I think they actually might have just had one this last week, and I'm not sure when the next one is.
Nice.
I'll find out.
Yeah. And then the other thing is also just, the other really big thing that you can always do, which doesn't take as much time as you'd think, especially once our socials or things already happening, is literally just talk to people and drag them to stuff, like find the friend that's like half a libertarian, but not totally sure, and just drag him to a social and show him that other people think like him and he's not crazy, and see if he'll start, donating the $25 a year, $5 a month to start becoming like a state party member. Because like that money really makes a difference at the state level. We run on a shoestring budget. So each person that like donates the $5 a month really makes things easier.
So maybe this is unsolicited, but I get the most success out of asking people, are you tired of these two parties? Right? Are you fed up with these two parties? Right? Because they don't have to immediately jump on to all the libertarian platform planks and whatever, and they can reject some of them too. I mean, libertarians tend to do their own thing. So start with that, right? And then as well, I just wanted to say that running an affiliate is not that much. It's not that much work. We're talking one meeting a month. Now, as you get involved in it, and you're because you're trying to be involved, right? You can end up doing a little bit more. Once you have your 3 officers or whatever, you tend to talk to them fairly often and that kind of thing. And I mean, part of it's fun. You get where you're like, hey, I'm actually doing something here. And even if it only is you and your 2 officers that show up for a while, you get together and you drink and you talk about the next thing you're going to do. Because we always turn our business into our social meeting too. So show up, talk for 30 minutes about what you're going to do, and move on to drinks. And sometimes drinks even before. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, thanks. Doing the affiliate thing is definitely something that I'm kind of already looking into and seeing if it can get going. It just seems like a good step forward for everyone in general, to get another county on the
Yeah, for sure.
on the board.
Well, and it's also like, once you exist, there is someone out there in a spot that you are right now that's like, I want to get involved. Oh, there's nothing in my county. I guess I can't. And now they can reach out to you. So it's kind of like having that affiliate is a bit of a self-fulfilling promise, that like
Right.
drives people towards you.
Sorry, Drake. And we fill up CENTCOM seats.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's, if we're just doing a real basics, how to get involved, that is it. So like kind of working with the county affiliate. Current volunteer projects are mostly either ballot access or something local with like your city council. Or getting involved at the state level, either if you happen to be in one of the areas with an open central committee seat, or If there is a division that really calls for you, like if you really like writing emails and want to help send out the monthly emails for the state party, it's something that's not done right now that would be really valuable. Or kind of, so if any of those specific skills call to you, or if someone really wants to do fundraising calls, I would love help because I am not good at fundraising calls. So yeah, I think that's about it. And I'll cut the recording here and then we can say all the super fun secret stuff off of the recording.